Leodori. I'm the attorney for the Pinelands Preservation Alliance, and my office is in Medford, New Jersey. Oops. Okay, great. One of the things I wanted to mention tonight is, I don't know who said it, that this is not an adversarial proceeding.
That's correct. I said it.
And with all due deference, Mr. Liston, you're absolutely, positively, 100% wrong. Tonight, this is an adversarial proceeding.
No, it's not.
It's the...
Look, you're not going to argue with me. We are making a recommendation. The adversarial proceeding takes place at the council meeting on second reading. You know that.
No, sir, I beg to differ. And let me explain why. And again, it's not a football game, so I understand we don't yell out at football games or planning board games.
So we do yell out at football games. We don't at planning board.
Okay. I wish you would learn that. But maybe we should go to the football game together. So anyway, the reality is every man, woman, and child, lover of the environment, who lives near or in Manchester Township, that's on one side. And it's an adversarial proceeding against Hobson's. That's right, Hobson's. And the reason I say that is because history has proven what I say to be correct. It's naive for any and all of you to think this is not adversarial. It's adversarial because in the year 2000, Hobson sued Berkeley Township and other communities, I think this community as well, over the Heritage Minerals site. In 2001, in state court. In 2001, Hobson sued the Department of Environmental Protection, the Pinelands Commission, the DEP, over the Heritage Minerals site. In 2001 or 2, they filed 2 more lawsuits in the administrative law courts against the DEP. They sued. They're not any different than other large developers. Perhaps in one respect, they have a lot more money. They have a lot more money than Manchester Township. And my words of wisdom to you is look at who you're going to go to bed with here. Because if you side with Hobson's tonight, you are siding with the devil. Because they are. They're going to come back. The reason I say that is we all heard about the 2003 federal court order in action that was entered with Hobson. You know what Hobson promised in that? They promised we're only going to have 2,400 homes.
Right.
They promised 20,000 commercial square feet. They promised to protect certain endangered species. They promised, they promised, they promised. And you know what they said in that? They promised to relinquish and dismiss the litigation with Pinelands. They promised to stop litigating with DEP. They promised. And you know what it says? Paragraph 10. Aside from the project authorized herein, no other use of the heritage mineral property or the development area is permitted. That's what they promised. They promised in 2003 no more. All they did is they got a foothold, a toehold, and now you're going to let them in the door. You know what? If you read the New York Times, you know what's going on in the South China Sea? They took a coral reef, and for about 8 months, they continued to dump and pave it over. It's now a naval base for the Chinese Air Force. That's what's going on here. You're letting these guys into Manchester Township, and that's why it's an adversarial proceeding. Because if you think that's a good idea, you're wrong. I have seen towns get eaten up alive with litigation costs, and that's what you're looking at. You're looking at 20 years of litigation with Hobson's, because they make a deal and they break the deal. And that's what they're going to do for the next 20 years. My advice to you is you have a federal consent order. Ride it, baby. And the reason you should ride it is because you want to be in league with the DEP. You don't want to be against the DEP, you want to be with the DEP. You want to be in league with the Department of the Interior. You don't want to be fighting the Department of the Interior. You want to be in league with the Pinelands Commission. You don't want to be fighting the Pinelands Commission. Pick your ally. Tonight is the night to pick your ally, and pick the right ally. not pick the wrong ally. You remember Neville Chamberlain? I brought peace in my time. He picked the wrong ally. He picked Adolf Hitler. Don't pick Adolf Hitler. Pick the right ally.
I know that you appreciate the applause, but would you please ask them not to do that? It just wastes time. I know you're playing to the crowd. We realize you're not playing to us.
I am.
No, you're not, because if you were, you would have read the plan and you would see that this plan cannot ever go forward unless that federal court order is amended to reflect this plan.
That, it doesn't say that. And you should send it to the planning board, or you should send it to the mayor and council saying exactly those words, Mr. Liston, and all of you. That is so critical.
That's what the plan says, and anything that is in that court order that you're slamming down and yelling about has to be altered by consent or by a judicial order before this plan can go forward. David, am I correct?
There's, the plan cannot alter the settlement agreement. So there's plenty of language in the plan that references the settlement agreement. If the board suggests, and I don't necessarily think it's a bad thing for the board to recommend that it be crystal clear in the plan.
Sure.
But it's already referenced in several locations in the plan that obviously without a larger shared service area, the plan really hinges on the road that would connect 37 to 7. That's what makes it either happen or not happen. So many things have to happen with that which require DEP approval for that to happen that, you know, obviously the settlement agreement is part of that. So the redevelopment agreement would have to be based on a new settlement agreement. All of those things hinge on that. So by making it, if it's not as clear as it should be, we can certainly state it again.
We will emphasize it, Mr. Leodori, and I think, and I agree with you, that that court order cannot be changed in any way, shape, or form without your group. Are you a party to that?
Yes, the Pinelands Preservation.
Well, then, to quote you, sir,
that's correct.
take that order and ride it, baby, ride it. Because you won that. You won that, and we are not about to disturb that whatsoever unless and until the court says, yes, you may do that. And we know that you will be in that courtroom, probably being as loud as you were this evening, telling the court they shouldn't do that. And that's your right. But this function of this board tonight, with all due respect to your presentation, is not an adversarial proceeding. We're being asked to perform a statutory duty which is non-binding on the council, and that's what we intend to do.
No, and I appreciate that, but I do appreciate the comments, actually by yourself, Mr. Liston, and others. I think it's so critical for you folks and for us to all be on the same side here, because when you give up leverage to a bigger, powerful entity like Hobson's, or any developer, Hobson's got a ton of money. When you give up a little leverage, you lose a lot. There's thousands of acres out there, thousands of acres that they're going to use as leverage. They're going to play a game, and they're going to use that as the bait to get more development, more density, more something in the future. Some things that we can't even think about. And what I'm saying is, keep the game small. Keep it within what we have together. We all have together. We all have that common interest. Keep the bigger guns, the DEP Pinelands and the interior on our side. Don't surrender that, because if you surrender that, you're giving up. And again, Mr. Liston, what you're saying, I think you and I agree. I know as painful as that may sound to you and me, we agree. And let's, you know, the town planner.
We agree that this plan cannot move forward unless and until a federal court changes that order. You've got that order. You are in that case. You tell me. Your Pinelands Preservation Alliance is a party to that case, and you will be there, I am sure, hammer and tongs, trying to prevent one word of that order from ever being changed. And would you agree that if that order is never changed, all this never happens?
I hope so.
Well, okay.
And
Ride it, baby, ride it.
And would you agree Robert's kind offer, again, on behalf of the board, to put language into your recommendation to the mayor and council to that effect. We're on the same side.
Well,
We really
we're on
are.
the same side, but at least not with taxes.